Many indie artists are using the wrong distributor and they may not even know it. And the crazy part is that it's really not their fault. Most artists never choose a distributor, they kind of inherit one. They go with whatever is loudest or cheapest or simply most familiar. You hear a lot of opinions from content creators like me, and it's hard to know what's really opinion or what's really real. And you also hear a lot of opinions from your fellow indie artists too, and who knows whether you can really trust what everyone is saying. It's not easy to sort out the facts and really make the best choice all the time. I learned this the hard way. My first releases were through CD Baby, and at first it felt fine, but then the pay per release fee started stacking up massively, and every drop felt like I was paying a cover charge just to get into my own show. And when there was a glitch with some of my published music and I needed help, customer support was literally nowhere to be found. Out of complete frustration, I eventually pulled my entire catalog and moved everything to DistroKid. That was a couple years ago. And that moment taught me something super important. Distribution isn't just a checkbox, it's actually a strategy. And the wrong choice quietly drains your money, your momentum, and your sanity. So today, we're looking at 5 distributors that most artists don't even know about. My hope is that one of them might even fit your goals, maybe better than DistroKid or TuneCore or, yes, CD Baby. Not because they're universally better, but because they might be better for the artists that you actually are becoming. So here are the 5, and I'll begin with a brief overview just so that you know what they're most known for. First, we'll talk about Symphonic, which is getting a reputation among indie artists for a strong emphasis on personalized customer support, hands-on service, and additional tools beyond basic distribution, things like playlist pitching, marketing and promotion resources, and royalty collection. Next is Stem, which prides itself as an artist-first, technology-driven approach that emphasizes transparency, data insights, and flexible royalty management. And they include features like automated revenue splits, monthly payouts, and personalized artist development support. And then third, there's Vydia, which is best known for its all-in-one technology solution that handles audio and video distribution, content monetization, rights management, and advanced analytics. And they often target indie artists and managers and even labels that have more complex needs. RootNote is the fourth one, and it stands out for providing unlimited releases and support for multiple artists or labels at no upfront cost in the free plan, especially appealing for beginners or prolific creators or small indie labels that are on a really tight budget. And then last, Songtradr, which stands out in the indie space for integrating a large music licensing marketplace that can provide additional revenue streams through sync deals, and it often positions itself as a hybrid distribution and licensing solution rather than just a straightforward distributor. Okay, so it's already clear that each one solves a different problem, and each one probably fits a different type of artist. So let me be your guide to really understand how all of them compare in an understandable way. And it only makes sense that we start by talking about pricing. Pricing is the first thing that artists look at and the thing that many of us misunderstand the most. But I've studied this and I've lived it for many years, so I can make this simple. First, you should know there's only a few types of pricing models for virtually every single distributor. First is a subscription-based model where you pay an upfront cost like maybe an annual subscription. And for almost all companies that use this model, artists don't have to pay a fee for every release that they put out. And then second, there's a pay-per-release model, which is where the artist pays nothing usually for a subscription, but then each release can cost money to publish. And then third, there's a revenue share option where instead of subscriptions and instead of pay per release, these companies simply take a cut of your royalties to cover distribution costs. Now, I'm going to try hard not to get too opinionated about these things because different models truly can work better for different types of situations and for different people. But on this one, I will say that most indie artists are going to be better off with the subscription model instead of paying a fee for every release. I mean, if you plan to release more than one song or two every year, these per release costs can add up a lot and they make it really hard to stay on a decent release schedule. And also, I would simply avoid revenue share options. You work really hard to build your audience, and personally, it just rubs me the wrong way to keep giving a bigger cut to the distributor every time we work harder to build our own audience. And can you believe that some companies actually charge both for pay per release and revenue share? In my opinion, this is just completely insane and to be avoided. In a minute, I'm going to tell you who these are. CD Baby. Okay, then how about Symphonic? They're a subscription-based model, so they already get my thumbs up for this. Their starter plan is $19.99 a year with unlimited releases, and you keep 100% of your royalties. So if you release often, this is one of the cleanest deals in the industry. Stem and Vydia use the revenue share model. So Stem usually takes 5 to 10%, and Vydia varies. And there's no annual fee, but you give up a cut forever. Yikes. I mean, proceed with caution on this model because we're going to see if the features outweigh the cost for these two. RootNote actually lets artists choose between either a revenue share model or a subscription-based model. So that's a little bit different. You can see that they're trying to cater to everyone, but do they do either model really well? I mean, they offer a free tier where they take around 15%, or a premium tier where you pay up front and keep everything. And I can see how this might be perfect for testing or experimenting or scaling, but I still stand by my statement. Join in revenue sharing models at your own peril. And then Songtradr offers both models too. There's a free starter tier where they take around 10% of your revenue, or a pro tier around $49 a year where you keep everything and you get better sync splits. Again, my hope is that one of these might fit your goals and that they're all so different. Here's the takeaway on pricing. If you want predictable costs and full royalties, Symphonic is super strong. If you want no subscriptions and don't mind sharing royalties, then Stem or Vydia could work for you. And if you want maximum all-around flexibility without frills, RootNote is going to be your friend. And if you want sync and distribution in one place and a choice in pricing models, Songtradr is built for that. Okay, now the part that nobody checks until something breaks, which is, what about service and customer support when things go wrong? And trust me, eventually something will break. Well, I want to start with Symphonic again because they continue to impress me. Symphonic gives you real humans, and often within 24 to 48 hours, sometimes even the same day. It feels kind of like a boutique label without a contract. And is it too good to be true? Well, stay with me to find out. Stem and Vydia are unique because they actually have a selective client base, which means more attention per artist. So not everyone can be a Stem artist or a Vydia artist, but if you get in, you're going to be treated more like a partner, and that sounds pretty amazing. So how do you get to be part of the Stem Club? I know that was my first question. Well, the easiest way to explain it is to say that their goal is to work with committed talent that has potential for growth instead of just accepting everyone. They don't disclose everything, but you can look at their vetting process to get an idea. They want to verify your music's quality and professionalism. And they want to know if you have any existing traction, like streams, followers, or even prior releases on platforms like Spotify and Apple Music. They look to see if an artist is aligned with their services. I mean, they want to know if you're seeking distribution, advances, or royalty management. And they're judging for overall fit for their middle tier indie focus, where artists benefit from autonomy and they don't have to have major label bureaucracy. So, Stem has above average service, but it's an exclusive club. And word has it that Songtradr is better than average for service too, which of course the bar is set pretty low, let's just be honest. Same with RootNote, it might be decent for the price. So you're not getting white glove service with these guys, but you're also not going to feel completely abandoned when you need help. Here's the takeaway. If you need reliable help, Symphonic or Stem are probably the safest bet. And if you're comfortable with self-service and typical customer support experiences, then the others are going to work fine for you. Now, I think that the most important thing to consider are the features that make each of these unique and special. Features are where these 5 really separate themselves from the big 3, and where you, as an indie artist, might really start to see the best fit for yourself. Since they're already doing so many things right in pricing and support, I'm going to start again with Symphonic and dig into their features. Symphonic gives you playlist pitching, marketing tools, YouTube content ID, analytics, and specialty stores like Beatport and TrackSource. And it feels like a label service without the contract. I gotta say, I'm pretty impressed with Symphonic. If you've never heard of Beatport and TrackSource, these are 2 of the most popular online digital music stores that specifically cater to DJs and producers in the EDM world. So if you make beats or produce EDM, this could be a really good lift for you. Stem gives you automated splits, crystal clear financials, advances, and clean analytics, so this is perfect for collaborators and producers. By the way, talking about splits, here's an important consideration. I never thought about splits when I first got my start, and that was a huge mistake. Why? Well, at first, I was only publishing my own music, And I just took all of my own royalties in, and it was really simple. And then I started getting a few clients as a producer, and I started working on a few collaborations as a musician. Suddenly, I found myself trying to figure out how to manage a growing list of revenue splits. I mean, I was spending tons of time every month on Excel worksheets instead of producing music. And it was a headache and a total time sap. So, if there's any chance that you're going to find yourself in collaborations or taking on clients, do yourself a favor and find a distributor like Stem that handles this for you. And you can thank me later. Okay, Vydia gives you rights management, video distribution, and social monetization. It means you earn money when your music is used in TikTok or Reels or Shorts. And this matters in 2026. Bonus points for Vydia for being on trend and helping indie artists get paid for their music. RootNote is totally bare bones in many ways, but they give you YouTube Content ID, SoundCloud monetization, and wide store coverage. It's simple and flexible and basically reliable, but there's really nothing special about it, if I'm being honest. Songtradr offers a sync marketplace where you can submit to briefs for film and television and even ads and even brands, and that is super unique. Here's the takeaway then when it comes to the features for these 5. If you want label-style tools, Symphonic is really strong. And if you want business infrastructure, then Stem is the one for you. And if you want video and social monetization, Vydia stands out. And if you want budget basics, RootNote will work for you. And if you want sync potential, Songtradr is built for that. Okay, so let's do a reality check. DistroKid and TuneCore and CD Baby are everywhere, and they're simple and fast and they're familiar. But support is inconsistent at best, and video and social monetization aren't the best, and sync opportunities are minimal, and financial clarity is kind of basic. Here's how I look at it. The big 3 can get the basic job done, but these other 5 options can really help you grow, and that makes them worth considering. So if you just want to upload and go, all right, stick with the big 3. And if you want tools that actually move your career forward, one of these 5 might be better. So which one should you choose? That is the question. Okay, it depends on your identity as an artist. Indie artists who choose Symphonic as their distributor are seeking a subscription-based model, which I love, personalized support, dedicated account management, sync licensing opportunities, and strong genre-specific promotion. New artists prioritizing simplicity and zero commission often go with DistroKid or TuneCore instead, but they should really take a deep look at Symphonic. And Stem? It's ideal for career-focused indies that are ready for a more collaborative, boutique-style partnership instead of a do-it-yourself distribution option. But remember, it requires an application and focuses on more established or high-potential acts rather than just beginners. If you want social and video earnings, Vydia is built for that. Vydia is best suited for more established or business-minded indies who can get accepted and that value premium video distribution over cheap, unlimited uploads from competitors like DistroKid and TuneCore. Small beginners often find better, easier options elsewhere due to Vydia's selective process and higher costs. Now, if you want flexibility but less features on a tighter budget, RootNote is probably ideal. It could be ideal for beginners and hobbyists or low-volume releasers who prioritize zero upfront costs over keeping 100% of the royalties from day one. More established indie artists generating significant streams, they often switch to premium options elsewhere, and that way they can get full royalties. And I have to say though, if you want a budget-friendly option, DistroKid is probably a better choice than RootNote, simply because they offer more features and reasonable pricing, plus they give you 100% of your royalties. If you want sync opportunities, Songtradr is the one for you. It suits creators producing lots of music, especially instrumental or vocal tracks suitable for sync, who want distribution bundled with licensing exposure for a flat annual fee. Honestly, for those mainly focused on streaming growth and artist branding alone, dedicated distributors like DistroKid or TuneCore may be the better choice here. And if you still think one of the major distributors might be the best choice for you, I'd recommend that you check out my recent video where I break down each one of them and lay out the good and the bad for each one. I'll post that in the description. And if you want to learn more about lesser known distributors that I didn't mention in this video, let me know about it in the comments and it might get covered in a future video. I'm Kevin from Innovaniac Music. We help indie artists produce great music to get published and build a growing audience. Until the next video, dream big and create boldly.
100 miles per hour on that see-through. All I ever had is to be true. More like Swiss cheese when I approach these words. They got holes in them, so deep you can fill them up and swim in them. Not advisable, I would try it though. Walk with a cane on a rainy day. Big teeth out.